You'll remember that my last gaming video was about a whole bunch of different games that were basically business games for car dealing. So one of them was Car Dealership Simulator 2. It was the newest one, and I was somewhat interested in it, but of course it was at the time relatively unfinished because it was an early access introduced in September of 2025. And they have done a number of expansions on it. They've worked very hard on it, and now it has a lot of the things that I commented it didn't have originally. Especially, it's now possible to do modding of the cars to increase their value. Let's see if we can look at the announcements here. So they added weather in December, and they added motorcycles in January, although I haven't been able to try these yet. I think they might have a problem getting them to spawn. I was not very lucky with these, so I haven't had a chance to try them. And then they did some bug fixing later in January, added some cars and various things. Where was the modding? I thought I saw the modding in here somewhere. Let's jump back a little bit here. Yes, there we go. I was wrong. December, yeah, also in December, along with the weather. So they added the modding features there, see? And then just a few hours ago, they did another bug fix with a bunch of different features added too. You can get a security guard, like a real security guard, and not just your friendly dog. You can get a cleaner, you can get a secretary. So it's more of a business simulator, because you can have actual employees now. And they added more cars. I expect they're going to be adding cars throughout the development process. Now, another thing I discovered, or rather rediscovered, about the manufacturer, or the developer, who would be Quadfix, of course, they actually have in their list of games here a competitor to Storage Hunter Simulator. Storage Dealer Simulator, right here. And I got this back in December and played it like crazy for about a month. I love this game. It is, I think, what I would have preferred Storage Hunter Simulator to be, but which it never was. I haven't tried this loading dock scene here. I have not found this storage unit yet, but there are many of them. You have a lot of choices of buildings, at least 3 different venues to sell your stuff. This, I think, deserves its own playthrough. But I should comment that a lot of people are complaining that the development stopped as soon as Car Dealership Simulator 2 really got underway. Although that's only part true, because Car Dealership Simulator 2 and Storage Dealer Simulator were both being updated simultaneously until about October. Now I think the issue is that people are basically saying they dumped this after only a few months of development, because it was originally released in June. So I hope they'll continue developing it. They claim that they've not abandoned it, that they're just, busy with Car Dealership Simulator 2. Regrettably, a lot of people have been giving this terrible reviews that I don't think are particularly fair, mostly having to do with the fact that it was early access, and when it was new it had a lot of bugs. I only found a few things to complain about with it. Generally speaking, I love this game, and I wish it were more in development than it is. Maybe it will be developed further, we'll see. Anyway, that's a little bit of a tangent. We'll jump back here. I commented also that another great game for car dealing is Car Mechanic Simulator, even though it's not marketed as such, because in the late game you do a lot of car flipping. So you take an old beat-up junker from the junkyard, you turn it into some amazing hot rod of some sort. Or you can just do restorations, which in honesty doesn't make you as much money. And at this point, this has been developed quite a lot, and so you have a lot of choices for what you could do. I think the graphics are really nice, even if it's a few years old already. There's just a lot to like, even if it isn't unlimited. I think it's very, very nice. Very, very, very nice. Its latest DLC is an expansion of the rims you can use. It's the second rim expansion. This one here, Rims 2 DLC. But there has been criticism of how they're just doing these little incremental steps without introducing any more licensed DLCs, because one of the nicer things about Car Mechanic Simulator is that they have some actual authentic cars, not just fictional ones or fictionalized ones. A lot of this stuff is real. A lot of these rims seem to be based on real ones I've seen too, but they're not using the real brand names, I don't think. So there's a lot to like. But having said that, this game seems to be stagnating just a little bit. And so some people are unhappy with that and would like to see a real proper update. I don't know if I really have that complaint. I think I've just played the hell out of it to this point that I'm eager to try other things. I do enjoy it, though. It's still one of my favorite games. But anyway, there are competitors to it now. And I mentioned in the playthrough for the car dealing simulator games, the various ones, that Car for Sale, which was one of the most influential ones, was developed by Red X Games. Red X Games also have a car service game. They call it Car Service Simulator, and I think that this is actually better than Car for Sale, if I'm being honest. The graphics are a little bit better, although weirdly the weak point is the cars on this one instead of the buildings. It's kind of like the reverse problem. I don't really know why that is. I think if they have quality car models in Car for Sale, they should be able to import them to this, right? But for some reason, they've got more rudimentary car models on this. It's a little bit of a disappointment. I don't really know why. The car service that I've tried on it, I haven't played a lot of hours on it yet, but it does seem to be pretty realistic in terms of what you have to do to maintain cars. So I like it. I was originally under the impression that you get a lot of tools and functionality in the beginning of this game, but I was confusing it a little bit with Car Service Together, because you do have to complete some basic challenges to get a lot of the repair functions. Car Service Together does give you a lot of stuff right in the beginning, even if you still have to build your business up somewhat. Car Service Simulator is very cheap, notice. Much cheaper than the alternatives. This is the full price. I got it on sale in spite of this. I almost always buy games on sale. But because the price is so low already, I only saved a few cents, in honesty. But they're giving it mixed reviews, probably because there are so many Car Mechanic Simulator fans out there who say these graphics are not on the level. But the advantage of this over Car Mechanic Simulator is that there's a lot more that you can do that's in line with real life. I haven't gotten to the point where I'm rebuilding engines yet, so I don't know how well they've simulated the engines. And they don't have any licensed real cars in it yet. But it does seem to be, in some ways, very realistic and, supposedly there's a lot more than just the car service, that you can eventually flip cars just like in Car Mechanic Simulator. Now, I had already been aware of this, but had forgotten about it. Not that it's that old, it's only from August of 2025. But, if you take a look at the logo here, Car Service Simulator. Can't actually get a bigger picture, that's annoying. But you can see the logo here. And in my car dealer simulator playthrough and review, the longest video I've ever done, I also pointed out that Car Service Together was due to come out soon, and indeed it has now been released. It's been out for 4 days, as of today. And they've been working on it like crazy, doing bug fixes, which is good, not bad. Obviously, a new game, especially in early access, is going to have a lot of bugs to work out, and they've been working very hard on it. I keep getting update after update after update, and I've barely played it at all yet. So it's good to see that they're very, very attentive to that. The developers are this new company called V12 Studio, who I believe are Turkish, in the mold of Red Axe and Quadfix. So it also seems to be of sorts a clone of Car Service Simulator, because I thought the name Car Service Together was inspired by Supermarket Together. And maybe the name is, but it seems like what they're trying to do here, maybe they got impatient with Car Service Simulator and they said, well, we can do this with better graphics and with a bunch of improvements, and we're not using the same name, even though we're kind of copying the logo. So they seem to be going along with it, and it is more detailed. I will give it that. It's more detailed and has probably better graphics. I'm not sure if there's the same depth of gameplay, because they admit that a lot of really basic things are not even implemented yet because they're still building it. It is early access after all. So, for example, one of the things I found is that they haven't simulated alternators yet. So the alternator is sitting there in your engine compartment, but you can't do anything with it yet. So stuff like that. They have to get basic stuff together. Interestingly, though, like Car Service Simulator, the maintenance tasks are very thoroughly simulated to a degree that Car Mechanic Simulator, it does and it doesn't simulate this. Basically because Car Mechanic Simulator is so focused on restorations, like the cool stuff, the fun stuff. And the newest version, of course, from 2021 is quite good also on maintenance tasks, but it seems like Car Service Together is trying to focus on the regular workaday stuff that you would do in a garage, as well as the fancier stuff like here. It looks like they're working on the camshafts. I've said before I love this screenshot because it shows that they're trying to be serious. They're trying to move forward with this. So far, there are no licensed cars here, but the fictionalized ones are very clearly based on real models. So this is obviously a Lada. You can get different licenses for servicing different cars. I don't know if that's realistic for Turkey. It's not really realistic for the US. I mean, you want to have some kind of certification for your garage, of course, but licensing from manufacturers is something kind of extra. Nice to have, but not required generally. So it's maybe a way of adding a little bit more of an ease into the game as you're playing it, so that you don't have to do everything at the beginning. Or maybe just adding more challenge. It is a little bit of a restriction, but I don't mind it so much so far. So far, it's not holding me back very much. Because I am having to learn the game, because just like Car Service Simulator, I haven't put too many hours on this yet. You'll see me playing it very clumsily when I do the playthrough. Now you might ask, well, what games are you going to play through on this video? I am going to make this about Car Service Simulator and Car Service Together, to compare the two, because it's clear that one is a clone of the other. Something I didn't completely realize at the beginning of this. And I think they both have very similar advantages. Car Service Simulator is cheaper, and it probably offers you more features in the beginning because it's a few months older. I think the graphics in Car Service Together are a bit better, but they have their flaws too. I think it might be nice to take a look at these in early access and see how they're doing. I would say that I think both of them appear to be going concerns, especially Car Service Together. So I think this will be interesting to fiddle around with. Let's start out with Car Service Simulator by Red Axe. You can see your employees there that you get later in the game. As you can see in the lower left there, they're going to do multiplayer or co-op pretty soon with this. And graphics are okay in this shot. They seem to have a BMW there, although not branded as such. And we have the play and the new game and the settings and the feedback and the wish list. Several of these games have an option of wish listing from inside the game, which seems sort of like a contradiction in terms, because you already own the game if you have that. So it doesn't really make sense. But these are the settings. Settings are very, very basic at the moment. I would like to see more bindings and more controller support, but they at least have this basic setup here. I've found that it does support controllers up to a point, but it doesn't work correctly yet. So I have been using the keyboard. There's the team at Red Axe. I found the graphics are quite good in this in terms of the environment, but weirdly enough, a lot of the cars don't look as nice as in the splash screen here. And I don't really know why that is, because the models in Car for Sale are actually quite good. It seems to me they could probably reuse them. Like that model there is pretty nice also. Seems like they should get the teams together and share some models. This pickup truck is what they give you to start with as your own vehicle, and you can see the modeling is incredibly basic. They don't even have the lug nuts simulated. The tailgate opens, which is nice, but generally this model looks like really beginner. I mean, I've made much fancier models than this, actually, myself. So it seems to me it's another example of something they could probably replace with something from Car for Sale. They have working traffic lights. You can't see it here, but I've found these go yellow-green, so they're clearly not American configuration. You can service tires and so on. These have to be unlocked by game achievements. I slightly overestimated how much they start you with here because the facility is all accessible. It's just as you can't use a lot of it in the beginning of the game. That car wash back there works, though. I'll demonstrate that later. They let you do that from the very, very beginning. It's kind of a strange place to start, but it is certainly something you can do with a basic garage if you have a facility like that. Weirdly, they have a bar here. My sense is this is supposed to be set in Turkey and not the US, even if the buildings look a little bit American and everything's in English. So, people, I guess, get drunk there and then drive while intoxicated and get arrested, I suppose. I don't really know what they were thinking. So then there's a Gibson Les Paul electric guitar sitting in the corner, or possibly a replica of one. I have no idea why that's there. This is a toilet, I guess? It's not a room you can access. Most of these rooms are actually accessible, though. It's nicer than some games in that respect, that they don't lock too much away from you. This bottle should be on the workbench. Keeps falling off. They have kind of a drop function. They don't have a place function, which I don't like particularly. This generator apparently is functional. I'm not 100% sure of the application. Maybe there's a power outage at some point in the game. The engine crane there doesn't seem to be functional yet, although I'm imagining they probably are going to make this functional eventually. And they have various different objects around that probably will get given some function in the near future. These bays are blocked off with the plastic there, I guess is a semi-convincing way of blocking them off until you get the achievements. Really, you get points and then you purchase them. That's how it works, actually. And then those parking spaces are where you have to put the finished cars. Only one of them's unlocked there, you can see. The customers arrive in front, so there's no arrival parking space. They just pull up and you meet them and talk about the job. And the office is not unfunctional. You'll see in a bit that actually has a working PC there. Now this paint booth there, this paint booth is functional but not yet. Let's see what else we got here. The upstairs is accessible. We'll see that in a minute. And one of the nice things, they have exit signs like in the US. I don't know if they're trying to make this the US or Turkey, although I note that the license plates are Turkish. The American exit sign's kind of cool, but this desk here actually doesn't work. But having said that, there's a lot of stuff here that is wrong, like the traffic lights, if you want it to be America. These bunk beds are actually functional because they don't give you a house, let's put it that way. And so you need some place to sleep to skip the nights. The other room there, behind that other door, we go down here to the hallway doors, it's blocked off. So I am assuming you unlock this too, although I don't know yet what it is exactly. But clearly something to expand your business. And let's see what else we can get here. As you can see, most of the building is actually unlocked at the beginning of the game. It's just that not all the functions are there. I have not played this a lot of hours yet. I'm sure that I could blow through those achievements pretty quickly. They have kept it relatively simple, although the depth of the car repairs is actually pretty good and pretty representative of real life. This is the car wash, of course. They have this tank for refilling the water gun because they have a separate water and foam gun. There's a foam gun, there's a water gun. I haven't tried refilling the foam gun, but you refill the water gun there, obviously. And this building is not open yet. I'm assuming they will open it eventually. And there's the booth for the car washing, which is unlocked from the very beginning. These others are mostly not, but the car wash is. They're just saying to open the door, you must first complete the area upgrade. That dumpster actually works, but I don't have any trash to throw out at the moment. And is there anything else to look at here? Not sure. Look at open. Just like car for sale, you switch the sign to open and then your shop is open. So eventually a customer will show up. See, the dumpster is functional. In a few minutes, somebody will pull up and honk their horn and we'll get to work on something. The time scale is very, very fast, so it's already 4:30 in the afternoon. That has pros and cons to it. There's some sort of Lamborghini crossed with a Toyota there. Many of these cars are very fictionalized, actually. Even if the BMWs seem clearly BMWs. Seem to be clearly BMWs. First customer. They only want a car wash for $10. So I will not try to haggle. You're given a chance to haggle on every transaction. I will give them this for the $10 they asked for. We're only testing the game out here. So you get in the car using the F key, which seems to be an increasingly popular way to do it in gaming, as it becomes increasingly common to have games where you mount and dismount vehicles. And one of the things I've noticed that the default is the external camera, and I haven't found an internal camera yet for these. It does make it a little bit easier to maneuver than if you were stuck with only an internal camera. Now here we have another customer. Before the working day ends, I'm just going to take her business, because otherwise we're only going to make $10. We'll only make 20 for the day, so might as well try it, right? It's only a car wash. Now, I would like to look at the settings here. The sound just doesn't seem to be there. Yeah, I was right. When I was testing this earlier, the sound was much better. So maybe if we turn this up, we can get some actual sound here, because this has been really silent so far. Let's see. I don't know if I like that. I think the sound is still not off, but we'll try and move this car around back and get to work here. that I'm not 100% fond of the dirt model they've gone for because it looks a lot like rust, but they'll probably refine that because there are plenty of people around who know how to do that well. System volume, that's our answer. Finally thought of that. Alright, so now we got some proper sound. Finally it works. Okay. So, what do we do here? I guess I'll take the foam gun and try that. During my testing, I found that not all of the car is properly modeled for the foam. You see some places it doesn't lather up, like the bumper. But they'll fix that, I'm sure. It's an early access game. And I've done this with a bunch of other games at this point. It seems that the game's developers like this kind of foam that covers the whole vehicle and then you spray it off, which isn't universal in real life. Again, it looks like they haven't modeled the foam on the windows yet. Looks like there's a whole bunch of stuff they still have to do in simulating this on these models, but early access, right? Nothing really to complain about at this stage. I mentioned before this game is also very cheap, so that's one of the things where you don't want to complain too much. My sense is you can upgrade these spray guns too, because you see how it's really rusty, and you see the condition listed, it's, over 90% worn, so... Actually, it says 100% worn. It's not good. But it seems to work, though, so... I'm not going to complain. Seeing if there's anything I'm missing there, but I don't think so. I think it's time to go to water. So I'll try to place again with the Q key. And it falls on the ground. This is exactly what I was trying to avoid. Try this again. Okay, sort of works. So let's take the water gun. And we instantly and probably unrealistically have a perfectly clean vehicle. But for now, this will do. My understanding also is that you can buy more vehicles for yourself later in the game. But of course, one of the problems with being in this stage of the game is there isn't any storage anywhere. You just have to pile them up on the site, which you probably don't want to do. You want room for your customers' vehicles, of course. Oh, I see a little bit of suds there. Yeah, let's try that. Okay. Looks like it's done. So we're being told it's the end of the day. Net profit is negative $7. Oh well. Now this is what the tab key gives you, so you get some tips there. I'm going to gloss over that for now. I'm just trying to put this water gun down here. Alright, so this gives you an idea. So refill water, all these tutorials and stuff. Not all of which I can actually do at the moment, because a lot of my functions in the garage are not activated yet. Alright, so let's try and drive this car somewhere where we can park it and hand it over. So the F key again. Is there anything I have to do on this? I think I have to get more suds there. That looks like suds under the wheel well there. Let's see if I can get any of that off. I guess it doesn't work. Or maybe that's a graphics error. Maybe that has nothing to do with the state of the vehicle. Yeah, nothing in the tab either. We'll go with it. F key. And we'll drive around. The sound for the cars is as rudimentary as it gets. But I'm assuming that that's temporary, like so many other things. I figure they'll have us on for a placeholder and follow up later. No backup lights or brake lights yet. Again, they'll probably fix that later. So I am aligned, I suppose. So I'll get out and wash the other car. I'll do this properly. I'll get it on the actual driver's side. Although, as with a lot of games, it doesn't really matter. Okay, pull in. Try to get lined up here. And then we'll go get the foam gun. So it is, in fact, a sort of brownish-orangish car here. It has a 1970s look to it. But you can tell that this is a clean paint version of brown now. Are we done? Yeah, that's that wheel well again, but I don't think that that's anything we can change. There's a little bit under the bumper there. Let's find a place to park again. It might be necessary to unlock one of those parking spots so that we can actually park. Means we'll lose a lot of money this time around, but subsequently, if we were to continue this game, it would be an investment. Meantime, I'll just park here. That animation of those wheels is really not ready yet. Could be worse, but it's clearly not ready yet. Okay. So back to the office PC, I suppose. So there it is. Not ready to go. So, upgrades. These are not what I need, but I can't open them anyway. I need at higher requirement levels. If you look up in the upper right, there it is. I'm still at level 1. And that's how they do achievements in this game. Or how they credit them to you anyway. So let's find if we can do the parking spot. I'm pretty sure it's over on the right here. It's one of the only things that is unlocked this early stage. Level up. Yes. We can't do another one, but we can do one. Let's double check that. Huh. Well, it's there, but the car has to be realigned here, so park it again. Pull it up. Says the car is parked correctly. Well, not really. In and out here. Car is not parked correctly. I know it's parked correctly, though. You're not fooling me. Okay. Let's get back to the computer here. So now they're parked correctly there. So let's call the customers. Why? Oh, there it is. There's the button. See, I don't know this game just yet. Still learning it. So let's call the other customer. So they will arrive back. Of course, one of the somewhat realistic dimensions of this game is that people look their whole car over before they agree to pay you, because they assume that you've maybe destroyed their car. So they make sure you haven't destroyed their car. And then they agree to pay. If you look carefully, you notice the cars have Turkish plates. So I guess this is supposed to be an English language speaking version of Turkey, even though those buildings look kind of American. So give the car, or hand the car over. Some of the English could be edited a little bit in this, but they'll probably deal with that. Same here, give the car, or hand the car over. I've leveled up, because it gave me enough points to get to level 2. But I am in the red, because I spent the money on the parking space, and I do not have the money for any of this other stuff. And in any case, as we saw, the extra features in the garage get unlocked at the PC. So I guess I'll go move on to the next game now. So there's the V12 Studio splash screen. This is, I think, their first game, actually. As I said before, this is Car Service Together. I can't decide which mature game I'm going to try. I wonder if I'm even going to do this. You can see I was up late gaming. I can't decide. I mean, none of these are really that impressive. I mean, barely past the beginning. Of course, this is, I'm assuming from the title, intended to be multiplayer, but they don't have that feature just yet. Just like with Car Service Simulator, it's very much early access, so yeah, it's not even an option, as you can see. Let's try a new game. Just do it from the beginning, with the tutorial. You see, you can actually apply for the beta and get more features to experiment with. I'm going to avoid that here because we want everything to work, obviously. Alright, so we have a parking space there. This is a much smaller facility than in Car Service Simulator, and you get less to start with, but getting the basics is not too hard. So you add a lift, or you can add these other features. I'm still looking for a way to combine more than one thing in one location, but I think I might be too wishful there. That might not be realistic. They do expect you to add that lift as part of the tutorial. You'll need it anyway. Although I've found that the first job doesn't require it. So here you can get your brand agreements. You do have to get your first brand agreement for the tutorial. And they only let you choose RADA. RADA is their parody or version of Lada, but they have copies of the other major automakers here. That's, I guess, supposed to be Chevy, but the logo, of course, reminds you or everybody of Eagle and some similar brands, right? BMW is obvious. We have no choice. We have to go with RADA or Lada, depending on your point of view. Dealed. They have to fix that. It's supposed to be dealt or... I don't know what you'd say. Effective? You'd have to pick a better... Dealed is not a word. The radio works, but I don't think that music is real. That might be AI. I don't like it. Let's look at the grounds. Well, we already have a first customer here. Okay, so
Hello. I think something's
let's not explore. Let's try this job, the first job. And as I was predicting, no lift is really needed here. We only need to pull the battery. Now, this game is the opposite of Car Service Simulator in the sense that you have to be in first-person perspective. As far as I know, unless there's a camera switch option, which I haven't found yet. You can also sit in the other seats, like for taxi services and so on later in the game. But let's back up. I have to drive it like a real car. I don't know if it's more fun or less fun. I can't decide. It is more challenging. Because just like in real life, your car is in the way. Luckily, this is a Lada, which is a reasonably practical car, so you can see out of it pretty easily. So, let's see if we can line ourselves up here on the first try. And see if I'm just being wishful here. Let's see. Let's find out. Are we lined up? Sometimes it's hard to open the door when you're already in the driver's seat. If you hit the F key, in line with Car Service Simulator and many other games, you get out, and you don't have to fiddle with the door. Looks like I'm lined up. Not that it really matters that much because I don't have to use the lift. So let's pull the battery. If you just hold a long click on it, that'll generally work. There's your very simple battery charger. So we pick out the existing battery. Let it charge. It starts to throw sparks after it's fully charged. I think I would be rather squeamish if that were real life, but this is a game. I used to charge batteries when I worked in a garage, but that was probably the scariest thing we did, because you never knew if we were going to blow up, you know. Everything else that I had to do was relatively safe, actually, but that one task was actually kind of hazardous. Okay, so let's see. It's basically done. I can just pull out. What am I worrying about? I'll use the empty space over there to turn around. Gauges work, which is nice. Obviously metric, because this is a Lada. I don't know if they ever made a Lada with... I mean, they probably made them with imperial gauges for Britain, but then they would have had the wheel over on the right. Because they did sell Ladas in Britain for a little while, as I understand it. So let's get it back in the space. Actually, I am able to open the door there. Cool. Alright. some reason, opening the door when you're in the driver's seat works sometimes and not others. Let's get out. We're all lined up here. Reserved for client. That's probably a problem. Yeah, because just like some other games, if you're going to service the car, you have to drop it off in a different place from where you got it. Which, I don't know if that's really realistic, but let's move the car. Car Service Simulator is simpler in the fact because you only have parking spaces for the finished cars. Your customers just pull up in front without using a parking space. Let's see if I can get lined up here on the first try. Yeah, that's probably good enough. Alright, so let's get it delivered to the customer here. Go to the tablet, and they give you some instructions about how to use the tablet. And notice you have a whole bunch of slots up at the top there, so that you can handle multiple cars at once. They show you where you can track body damage for later on when you're doing body work. So a lot of cool stuff. I haven't tried very much of it yet because the game is brand new, and I'm just learning it. Okay, so the battery's charged already, so nothing to worry about there. So I guess the next step, the only step, could be to call the customer. And they'll pick up the car whenever.
Hey, your car is ready for pickup.
Planned delivery day 1, which could mean today. And it's already gone. So I guess we have to wait for the next customer then. Having said that, they're not showing up. I guess, oh, wait a minute. The tutorial up in the upper left never registered our lifting the hood and removing the battery, which is kind of bizarre because that's exactly what we did. I don't know why it didn't register that. Let's try it again. Be more careful about following the steps. I bet I missed a step somewhere in there and I never even noticed it. But that's what happened. We'll get to give you an encore here. And we'll see what kind of job they give us for the first job this time. Go to the computer, open brand agreements. Oh yeah, I forgot that. I'll have to do everything over, obviously. So back to the computer, get the brand agreement again. Prada. The English is still wrong, but we already talked about that. They can edit that. Here's our customer. Different customer. Let's see if the job is different. No, it isn't. We have to do exactly the same thing. All right. I'm not going to complain. I know exactly what to do, at least. So, to go specifically into the driver's seat again, as before, close the door, maneuver in a realistic way to get into the garage. The physics of these cars both of these games is not very good yet. I assume that they'll fix that. Car Mechanic Simulator actually has very good car physics, even if it's not on the level of Assetto Corsa or Demon G or something. Now my steering's stuck. What's the matter with that? I can't turn left. Yeah, there's another way of turning left, right? Just back up. Unplug the keyboard, put it back in. The keyboard sometimes wonks out. Let's see. I fiddle with the keyboard a little bit, maybe I'll get it working. Again, I'm not using the controller here because this game I found has controller support, but it doesn't really seem to be fully functional yet. It's very sloppy. So the keyboard is still an easier option at this stage of the development. Let's see if I can get it lined up with the lift again. Not that I'm going to use the lift, but just the principle of it. Okay, so I pull it up. My steering works again. Look at that. Okay, good. Good. All right. I'll just forget that ever happened. So we open the tablet, as the tutorial is telling us to do. And again, we have all the instructions here because we're doing everything from scratch. Goes on and on. It may have been that we skipped this step before. This may have been the problem, that we did it in the wrong order. That seems plausible, right? Okay, so we pull the battery again, and then we put it on the charger again. See what we have to do anything else here. What is it fighting? Oh yeah, we have to look up the battery. Yeah, for the yeah. Not that we're gonna buy it, but just they wanted you to try it for the tutorial. Maybe that was what screwed things up before. I don't know. Yeah. So charge the battery again. Check your inventory. I have to do that. The I key. Another requirement. Maybe I missed that one. And they give a brake disc, which really technically is called a rotor. We'll gloss over that. Again, English mistake, right? Car Mechanic Simulator has the same issue, actually. You'd think they'd know that, but oh well. Battery. Why is it not installing? It's charged. Focus. Oh yeah, we gotta focus. There we go. Take the battery, install the battery in the vehicle. Let's try this again. Boom. There we go. Open the tablet again. Okay. Total amount due, $200. Okay. Alright. I guess it won't let us call the customer until we park the car. Open the vehicle door. Sit in the driver's seat. They didn't say close the door, but I think we have to do that. Back up. Drive the vehicle to the delivery slot. Indeed, that is the problem. So we'll do that now so that we can actually call the customer. I'll do my little trick here of turning around in the other stall. And again, I don't know where the body of the car is, so I'm having to wing it, much like real life. Of course, in real life, the mirrors work a little bit better, although I noticed that the mirrors sort of work. Just very badly in this game. Not really usably. Alright. See if we can get it lined up. Exit with F key. Is that like probably acceptable? Okay. Call the customer. Now let's see if it works this time.
Hey, your car is ready for pickup.
What was that? Huh, it's gone already. Okay. Mission accomplished, right? Now it wants us to buy another acceptance area for $200. There goes our profit. But we can take 2 more customers at a time. Good. And let's see what else we've got here. Yeah, these aren't functional yet. I guess they're placeholders or whatever. Anything new on the computer? Not really. I still am looking for ways of adding stuff. I mean, maybe they should consider making it easier to put more stuff in a given amount of space, because it doesn't seem like this should be non-upgradable like this. Alright, another customer. What does this person want?
Can you check what's wrong?
Oil change, effectively, and some windshield washer fluid. Guess it's a realistic order. Although in reality, you'd probably do all the fluids in real life. Alright, let's back up. As long as you have the lift, they let you do oil changes pretty much out of the gate. You just need the lift. They don't let you do it with a jack. I don't even know if they have a jack in this. I think I've seen it in some of the screenshots, but I don't know if that is actually still in the game. Is this lined up? No, it's not. I was suspicious that wasn't any good. Let's get this guy before I lose him. If you wait too long, the customers run off on you.
This car for me.
I'll take this job of brake fluid and an ABS pump, which I guess is realistic because if the brake system is failing, it's going to be leaking, right? possibly. Now, let's line this car up again. See if we can actually use the lift properly here. Hold up. Yeah, that looks wrong. I'll take another look here. I don't know about this. Another customer. Grab this customer while we're at it.
The car hasn't been behaving normally.
Radiator fan and antifreeze. Okay. Close the door. So let's get some parts and fluids here. We need an oil filter, of course, for a typical oil change, plus the oil. And this car also needs the washer. This car needs a brake fluid and the ABS pump. I think the ABS pump might be in the wrong location on these, because normally you put it under the master cylinder. It might be that Ladas have a peculiar design, maybe. I'd basically have to look it up. You'll see in a minute. Alright, let's get some oil. It isn't clear to me in this game why you would want to buy fancier fluids. It might be that you get more points later on in the game for that. But I'm skimping here because there is no clear reason in a video game to get fancy fluids. See, brake fluid again. Nothing fancy. I guess we'll need the fan there. ABS pump, eventually oil filter, of course. You can also buy rims, but I'm not in position to get rims yet. And brake parts beyond what I'm actually doing here. And kind of what else have we got here? I forgot the ABS pump. Okay, it's on the list now. So that's the order. Let's hope that it's enough and I'm not forgetting anything. Because this is no longer, strictly speaking, the tutorial, I have to wait for the delivery. No instant delivery here. So what am I going to do in the meantime? I don't know if there's anything I can do in the meantime. The delivery isn't animated in any way. You just basically wait it out and then it appears in your inventory. No parts falling out of the sky or anything like that, or any truck pulling up. Just a sound plays and it's in your inventory. There it goes. And now we should have what we need for these jobs. Alright, washer fluid. The easy part. They have simulated these things much more thoroughly than in even Car Mechanic Simulator, I would argue. Car Mechanic Simulator is better for the fancier stuff, like engine rebuilds and stuff, which I understand they're going to add here eventually. But this is a more realistic portrayal, I think, of routine car service, in a way. In that sense, I think this is even better than Car Service Simulator, because you don't have to unlock so much stuff at the beginning. Okay, so I cannot add any of this now, but now it looks as if you can only really add a specific piece of equipment in these slots. I don't know if I really like that, but okay, so we move the barrel over here for the waste oil. Drain that waste oil out. They don't let you pull the filter until the oil is out, which I guess is reasonable. We remove the old oil filter. Put the new oil filter in. Real life, you'd put the oil plug back in, but that's done automatically here. So lower the car again, and then we go to the oil filter cap and put in the new oil. It seems like they haven't modeled differing oil capacities, although I could be missing that, because after all, I've only worked on Ladas so far. It might be that it gets more complicated when you get other makes of car and models of engine. Then I get in the driver's seat again and back out, because the car's ready. Although, of course, in real life you would be very careful about this to make sure that your oil light doesn't come on. You have to make sure that your oil is flowing through the engine correctly and that you have the correct amount. The dipstick and so on. Dipsticks are actually in Car Mechanic Simulator. That's one aspect of it which is more realistic than this. Pull in very carefully here. Alright, and the lights work, notice. I'm going to need another delivery area. Guess I'm not going to make a profit here in the short term. I don't want to put in one after the other. That's stupid. Okay. Can I do anything? Yeah, I still can't do anything. I keep coming back to this. I can't believe that it's this bad. I really think they should add more upgradability to these, instead of just lift speed increases. Like, come on. Alright. Is there anything I can do here? Yeah, I mean, really not. I wish it wasn't like this, actually. No, really not. Okay. Okay, I guess that's it. Maybe I'll do a long play in the future, but thanks for watching.